Hey, I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain, and today I'm giving you the #1 tip for changing dirt bike tires or tires in general. So first thing you need to know is every rim has a drop center. That is the lowest point, and this is right by all of your spokes. If you do not get this flat portion of your tire, known as the bead, if that's not sitting down in this drop center as you try to pry the other side, it's never gonna happen for you. You're gonna say some curse words and you're gonna struggle and possibly damage your bead. So with that being said, we're gonna show you how to remove an old tire and install a new one. Now the tire we have today is brand new, so it might be a little bit easier, but all the steps and the process will be the same. So let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, for removal, we've already loosened up our rim lock, we've pulled the valve core out, and we've broken our bead. So to protect the rim, I'm gonna put a couple of rim protectors in place. Like so. And we'll get a couple of spoons set up. And if you have 3 spoons, even better. We're also going to use a little soapy water down by the bead so everything pops over easy. All right, so if I try to pull up right now, it's gonna be real tight and it's not gonna work out very well for me. So you can see this other side, the bead is still too high. We need to push that bead down into the center like we just talked about, just like that. Now, as I pull this up, it's gonna allow this side of the tire, that bead is gonna be able to pop up. I'm actually gonna space these irons just a little more. And that soapy water is making it nice and slick. And then a lot of times people struggle with this beginning part, so you can kind of rock these back and forth on the first couple bites, and it helps with getting your iron back down in there. And then once you have that first section off, you're pretty much home free, and you can see, you know, that bead is down in there. That's why it's so easy now. And I'll usually only use these on that first little bit. Flip the tire over and do the same thing. Okay, so going together is the same thing but in reverse. So we're putting our first bead on. We'll make sure this side is in the drop center or close to it. It's gonna be a little offset because of the valve stem, and we'll work it all the way on. So that popped right into place. We need to make sure that other bead is underneath our rim lock. So pull that out. So I'm gonna pull this up a little bit, push the rim lock in. That's gonna slide right down in there. We're good to go. You should be able to do that with your rim lock. Now as I go together, I like to use tire mount lube, but you can use soapy water, whatever you prefer. And we're going right on that bead surface. And this stuff, this lube tacks up after a little bit, so you don't have to worry about it being too slick. So what I'm gonna do right here, I'm gonna start in between the valve stem and the rim lock, and I'm gonna use a tire bead holding tool. And this is gonna make my life so much easier because it helps hold this bead down in the drop center. Remember, that's exactly what we're trying to do. So we'll just pop on enough to get that tool installed. Just like that. And from here we can work that bead on. And over by this rim lock, I need to press in on that again to make sure I'm underneath. I might have to pop this back up. There we go. Okay, so we're underneath right there. Just keep taking small bites and work the tire on. Now usually this will get tight or even tighter around here, but you can see the bead went down to the drop center on its own. Sometimes it'll stay up. So once it starts getting tight, you need to make sure you press that down and make sure the tire is away from the edge of the rim right there. So right here, it's looking kind of tight. I'll make sure that's pressed down just like that. We're looking good. And for this last little bit, I'll put a couple of spoons in place. We'll go for it all at once. You want to make sure that valve stem pushes all the way in too. If it doesn't push in like that, it means the edge of the tube is caught on your bead. So pay attention to that. And then we've got a little bit right there, but from here, it should pop right on. Gonna pull that bead holding tool. All right, for this tube, I don't have the valve coring right now. A lot of times you can leave just a little bit of air in there to help keep the tube, keep its shape. Either way, you wanna inflate the tube at least once before you install it and let the air out. But we're gonna set the bead now. So as soon as you see that bead set, you can let the air out. You want to make sure that this valve stem is free and centered up. So ours is looking good. Install that valve core. We're going to inflate this to 12 PSI. You see that go in and out. That's exactly what you want. It means we're not hung up. And you have two options here. You can either install the valve cap like this and back the nut up to it. And that way, if your tire spins on the rim, even though you have a rim lock, if it spins, it allows this to move a little bit so it doesn't tear the tube. Your other option is remove that nut, and we have a rubber valve support. These are really inexpensive and they help keep moisture out of the inside of the rim, and they still allow the valve stem to move back and forth if the tire does spin on the rim. So I recommend getting some of these if you don't have them, and we'll install the valve cap. And last, we need to tighten down our rim lock and check it after the first ride. That thing is going to settle down into place, so you want to make sure you tighten it before you go out again. And just be cautious with these. These are going to be somewhere close to 9 or 10 foot-pounds. So you want to tighten them up, but don't over tighten them. You can check your manual for a spec if you need it. So there you have it. That's my #1 tip for changing tires. If you make sure that bead is in the drop center, it's going to make your life so much easier. And if you're struggling with the tire, just take a step back and try to find out what's going on, whether the bead is not dropping down all the way, or maybe the soapy water is drying up on you, something like that. Make sure you check it out. But if you have any questions, leave those down in the comments. And if you need anything for your tires or wheels or your bikes, you can find that stuff on our website. Click the link in the description below. Orders over $75 ship free. And if you want to see more helpful content like this, subscribe to our channel. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thanks for watching.